trekking his way all the way up the Geelong Road to see us tonight is Dave Steele himself. How you doing, Dave?
Oh, I'm very well, thanks, John. Yourself?
Thanks for coming all this way to see us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Yeah.
How's life down there in Point Lonsdale?
Beautiful.
Yeah?
Does a bit of rain, huh?
Yeah, like all of us, I think.
But on the other hand, the weather's been fantastic, so it's been great. Yeah, it's been a great summer, actually.
You've been back down there a while now, haven't you?
A couple of years.
Yeah. Is it difficult conducting a music career away from the hub of Melbourne?
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, more people should. It's amazing who does do it, actually. There's a lot of musicians that live down there, and I'm always surprised at the people I run into in the street in Queenscliff and Point Lonsdale.
Yeah. You've certainly been one of our most well-travelled singer-songwriters over the years. Is this a permanent base for you now? You think you're settling?
I haven't gone into the business of telling the future, but yeah, I'm pretty happy. I mean, it's sort of my home country in a lot of ways, a lot of family down there, and yeah, it's pretty good at the moment, yeah.
Do you think it's helped your writing at all, being back down there?
No, but maybe it will. It's a slow effect. I haven't been writing much.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Of course, I was thinking I might move to New Zealand if it gets if this government moves any further to the right. Yeah, but apart from that, I think I will stay down there, actually.
And you were in Sydney before that. You were based in Sydney, weren't you?
I've had 7 years in Sydney, yeah.
How do you look back on that experience?
Oh, I love living in Sydney. I still really love Sydney.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I really like it. I lived in the inner city most of the time, and it was great. And I mean, you know, I really like Sydney. I actually prefer it to inner city Melbourne by a long shot.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what inspired the move?
Better environment, like a physical environment.
Yeah. So what inspired the move back then?
Oh, I just had 7 years in Sydney.
That was enough.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. Good stint.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk a little bit about the current album and some old stuff, and we'll get you to strap on your guitar a little later and knock out a few tunes for us. Old Soul Blues, a bit of a rootsy feel to it, more so than past works.
Yeah, well, if you say so, yeah.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I've been playing a bit of blues and stuff.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean, style-wise, I suppose. Yeah. It's kind of slick in a lot of ways too, I think, actually. So it's funny record. It's strange for me because it seems a long time ago. I recorded it actually nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so it's a bit gone.
Problems there held it up, didn't
oh, mate, we better not get into that on air. It's a very boring business detail. It's been a disaster area for the last year or so.
Yeah.
Just bad decisions and a couple of people disappearing when they were needed, and just been let down a bit, you know.
So it was recorded a fair while back. What sort of time period are you looking at as far as the songs go?
Well, they'd stretch over a year, I suppose.
Yeah.
A couple of them actually quite much older than that, but broadly speaking, yeah.
So
I always dip into the rejected last time bag and see if I can resurrect one of the poor little souls and get it on a record, you know.
So that would mean then you would have still been living in Sydney at the time it was recorded.
Oh, yeah.
It was before the move back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously the move back didn't have anything to do with the direction of the music.
No. I was coming home anyway. Sort of, you know, I don't actually like living in the city, so, you know, it has to be good. Sydney was good for a while, but it was just getting to the point where, I want to live in the country now. If I'm going to live in the country, I might as well live where I know a few people, you know, I can sort of operate.
Back home, more or less. Yeah. Would you call yourself a prolific writer, or do you tend to labour over them?
I think everyone has periods of, you know, prolific writing.
Yeah.
And periods of not prolific writing. Depends, you know. You're always writing in your head. It's just that quite a lot of the time, you have periods when you don't put it on paper because it's not very good.
Yeah.
Not worth pursuing. You know?
So it comes and goes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Right. Dave's got guitar in hand. From the sounds of him tuning up earlier, I think we're going to get something bluesy.
Yeah, I just did a gig recently in Queenscliff on the Blues train. It's a sort of a tourist train that goes from Queenscliff up to Drysdale and back in an evening, and there's dinner halfway and people get on and there's blues in 3 carriages, and I did one of the carriages. So I had to learn all these train songs, you see. I come across this song, but it's a Blind Willie McTell song, but I think it's really good, kind of suits my mood at the moment.
Okay.
So I'll give it a go.
Sounds great.
It's called Broke Down Engine, this one.
Like a broke down engine ain't got no driving wheel. Like a broke down engine ain't got no driving wheel. I done got broke. Shooting craps and gambling, mama, and I done got broke. I pawned my pistol and all my clothes are sold. Going down to my praying ground, fell down on my knees. I went down to my praying ground, fell down on my knees. I don't follow no religion, just you give me back my good girl, please. Bother you no more. Give me back my baby, won't bother you no more. You don't have to bring her in my house, just leave her in my back door. I'm lucky broke down engine, got no drive at all. I'm lucky broke down engine, ain't got no drive at all. Can't remember my station, don't know where I'm going. Knock it broke down engine, got no whistle or bell. Knock it broke down engine, got no whistle or bell. You mean this well, no man this soul. Knock it broke down engine, broke down engine. Get broke down engine, get broke down engine, got no driving wheel.
Very nice. Very nice indeed. I can feel that train rolling along now. That's great.
It'll work well in the carriage.
I'm sure it did.
These young people getting very drunk and falling over and dancing and stuff. It's good fun.
Has your approach or method of songwriting changed much over the years?
It's a refinement thing, I think, and I try different things all the time. And there's things I think your work tends to go along in different pathways at the same time. You know, you pursue certain things and you pursue certain other things concurrently. You know, like an artist might pursue ink drawings and acrylic paintings at the same time, perhaps, or over the same period of time. You know? So, yeah, I mean, and hopefully you refine your art as you go along and it just gets a little bit better all the time. You know? Like I say, you have periods where you don't write anything down.
Yeah.
But I've been mucking around a lot lately with more stuff like Shotgun Wedding and Gun and Off Angels Never Cry. There's a song, I can't remember the name of it now. It's the second song, I think. Anyway, trancier stuff, very simple chordal stuff with almost spoken word things over the top.
Yeah.
And some of the music I've been making with this band that we've been doing this schools project with in Geelong lately, it's been like that didge guitar, bass, drums, and just like two chord things like African sort of feels, you know,
Yeah.
like very sparse, if no vocals, and just, you know, dubbing instrumental kind of stuff.
Tell us a little bit about that schools project. What's it about?
Oh, it's like a prick sort of project like one
Yeah.
I did in St Kilda, where you go in with the health department, they talk about harm prevention with drug taking.
Yeah.
They talk about alcohol and marijuana mostly in high schools. And then they do a song about it, if you like.
Yeah.
What I did was I took in a band, I put a band together and actually took it into the schools and sat down with the kids with a band set up with a PA and everything, little PA in the classroom. And, you know, they talk about harm minimisation with drugs, and then we'd say, okay, and we play this African feel, and we had this sort of front person who would get the kids together and go, okay, here's a little melody you can chant to, we just need a few words, tell us what comes the first thing off your head when you think about drug taking, you know, getting out of it, getting off your face, all this sort of thing. And they'd spit out all those vernacular kind of phrases which Kelly would write down. We'd make a little chant up. We'd get them in two groups. Didn't matter if I could sing and tune or not, they'd just get them banging percussion and doing these little chants. So they did it in 4 schools, put it over the piece of music. It goes for about 20 minutes. And there's all these different, you know.
So is this for release of any kind?
Well, I don't know yet. I hope so.
Yeah.
They've used it, well, it was a thing to do at the time. It'd be kind of nice to release some of it anyway. I've used some mixes of it and bits and pieces. Some good music anyway going down.
Correct.
And the chants like, you know, don't get bent off your head and things like that. They're kind of, they got a certain charm.
Excellent. Let's go way back. So the days when you were with the Widows. Leaving that band, was that primarily just a case of wanting to get more of your songs out?
No, that was definitely part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were other things at the time too. Everything's always make decisions on the spur of the moment, and I never regret a thing,
Yeah.
And it was just what I decided to do at the time, There was a lot of reasons at the time that seemed very clear to me that don't seem so clear now,
Yeah.
Of course. But anyway, that's what happened. I just sort of said, nah, well, look, that's it.
You followed their fortunes still since then, though? You kept in touch?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So there's no animosity or anything like that, no?
Oh, no. Why would there be? No, I think I was becoming difficult, and I could see it myself. So
Yeah.
I think everyone just went,
You're obviously still comfortable being in that band member type situation because you're playing with Archie. And
Yeah. No, I like the role a lot. I think I'm better at it now than I was then. But on the other hand, Archie doesn't go on the road for months and months at a time with, bugger all conditions, so to speak.
Yeah. But still, that would have meant putting your own music on the back burner a little bit, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, well, it's had to go on the back burner anyway because of aforementioned business disasters. So.
Which we won't go into.
No, it's like boring stuff, mate. Every musician can tell you stories like mine.
Yeah, I've heard a few.
It's not a big thing,
We had a recent interview with you. You mentioned you encountered a little bit of hostility from some of the Aboriginal audiences when you were touring north.
I wouldn't want to overplay it. In fact, most of the people were fantastic to me.
There's just a few isolated cases.
There's always a yobbo up there, up the front, but in this case, instead of, play Jimmy Barnes, you bastard sort of thing, it was like,
Yeah.
what's the what so-and-so doing up there?
Yeah.
Quite pointed, but it's only a very small minority of people, and usually they're just a little bit intoxicated.
Yeah. How did Archie and Ruby deal with
They
it?
ignore it like I do.
Yeah.
There's nothing all you can do, because it's only a couple of lads down there.
That's right.
And they might have good reasons. I wouldn't want to get into that.
Fair enough.
I don't... I feel very privileged to have been where I've been, on the other hand, and I don't sort of think that... I think respect is really the first thing you've got to put in your head about all that.
Yeah.
I go there really quiet, and I'm trying to be really nice to the old people,
How's Archie's new album coming on?
It's coming out in a couple of months.
Really?
Single in May, and it's brilliant.
Fantastic. And you're on that?
Extraordinary, yeah.
Great, look forward to that.
And Malcolm Byrne produced it. The guy that did Emmylou Harris's record, you would have heard that, And he has made it probably, I think, the best singer-songwriter record Australia's ever seen. It's just extraordinary. You will love it.
Great. It's long awaited, for sure.
Well, it'll be worth it.
Great. What's up next?
This is a new one.
Oh, great.
And it's sort of set in Point Lonsdale. I was away with Archie in Berlin, and we were in Berlin. We were in Europe for a couple of months. We were in Berlin for quite a while, and I was out one night in this sort of blues bar in Berlin, and I was talking to these guys, and I was trying to explain where I came from, geographically speaking, exactly, and they weren't getting it. So we got the map out, and I pointed out where Point Lonsdale was. And this guy said, "My God, you come from the edge of the world." I said, "Well, you could put it that way, I suppose." Yeah, look at it from Berlin point of view. It was funny because I thought Berlin was pretty close to the edge of the world in another kind of way. Anyway, the end of this song, you'll see what I mean. This is just called The Edge of the World. Yeah?
Edge of the World.
sand dune at the edge of the world. At the edge of the world.
Very nice. Edge of the World. Did you write that one on while you were still travelling or after you got back?
No. I wrote that one just about 2 months ago.
Oh, right. Do you write much when you're out on the road, or you'd really have to be at a base?
I sketch things out sometimes, but some of them are still in progress, you know. I've got a fair bit in progress stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of songs I can't remember all the words to, so I can't play them to you that I finished. A good train one that I wrote.
Yeah. Have you ever consciously sat down to write your ultimate statement, you know, your masterpiece?
Oh, no. No, not really, no. I try, like I said, it's refinement. I try and get each one a bit better or a bit more developed in some sort of way, simpler or... Yeah.
You write mostly alone. You comfortable writing with others as well, though?
I've never done much of it, actually. I've done a couple of things with a singer called Natalie Kahn. She lives in Melbourne, a great country singer. One of them was a co-write that came out on an ABC compilation last year, I think. And a couple of other bits and pieces, but yeah, never really done much. I don't know whether I'm comfortable with it or not, actually.
Haven't done enough of it?
No. I sat down with Terry Bradford one time. Do you know him from Adelaide?
Rings a bell, yeah.
He's a pretty famous songwriter. I forget what he wrote. I think a Little River Band hit or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a great guy. He's done all this stuff in Adelaide with various little bands, and came around to write a song with me one day, and we wrote this song together with a piece I had on the piano, and he did some lyrics, and I was never sure about the lyrics, and one day I sat down with the piano piece and some of my lyrics and went, no, this is better. You know, I'm a bit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You comfortable being pigeonholed in that singer-songwriter category? Would you rather be, I'd like to say, more recognition for Dave Steele musician?
Yeah, and producer, and yeah.
Yeah, I was going to get on to production because you did the current
If it would mean more work in that line, definitely. You know, I'm only kidding, really. But there are a lot of other things I do, which hopefully over the next few years will become much more apparent to people than just having to go to a pub to see me play. And, you know, I can do a lot more than that. You know. I have done a lot more than that. It's just not, you know.
It's just not as well recognised.
No.
Yeah. You had a big hand in the production of Old Soul Blues.
Yeah. Me and Russell.
That's something you'd like to carry on, obviously.
I've done a few things. I just did another album for a guy from Sydney called Peter Baxter, an Irish singer-songwriter. I made a record with him last year, or the year before last, actually, and then now a new one. And this is a fantastic record, you know. Did it in Sydney in studio in a week with whoever came by. Had a lot of random sessions, but there's some great music came out of it. And I've done a fair bit of bits and pieces of production. Did an EP for a band called Amanda from Alice Springs. As interesting. A few other things, you know.
Excellent.
There's actually probably about 8 or 9 records there, but you know, what's the point of mentioning records no one's ever heard?
That's a few more strings to the bow anyway.
Yeah, well, it's something I really enjoy doing, as a matter of fact, and I think I'm kind of getting better at that too.
Something we'll develop further.
Oh, yeah.
Great. From the last radio, Dave Steele, I get the feeling he's going to knock out one more for us.
Yeah, I can do that. Lately I've been, when I don't write much, I quite often go to other people's songs and learn them and do different versions of them, sometimes to annoy people, sometimes just because I like to play around with them. This particular song was written by a guy called Ian Ryland, and I think it's remarkable. I think it should be sort of the national anthem or something like that. It's big, but I've really rearranged it and kind of wrecked it, and I haven't played it to him. So I'm going to give it a go. This is a bit of a premiere arrangement thing. This is called Saints and Kings.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay, so see if you can cope with this.
Ain't no saints in St. Kilda. Ain't no king on the cross. surfer. It's a paradise lost, and it's true. I care about you. Where we're heading to. Ain't no queens up in Queensland. Lock them away. Ain't no fun doing dream time. Down in Long Bay. And it's true, I care about you. Where we're heading to. Ain't no saints in St. Kilda. Ain't no kings on the cross. There ain't no stopping us now. It's the price, not the cost. And it's true, I care about you. It's true, I care about you. Where we're heading to. Where we're heading to. Where we're heading to.
That's a dramatic rearrangement, yeah.
Yeah, I took a few of the chords out of it.
Original was with Helter Pay, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. That's like a different song totally.
Sure to hear him at the moment. He's got this great band called Skin Diver, and just great guitar pop band. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's like Lou Reed's New York, that sort of sound.
Oh, really?
Sounds great, yeah.
Terrific.
Excellent.
I know you don't want to talk too much about record companies, but they ever put a lot of pressure on you in the past in terms of musical direction, sound of an album?
No, not directly at all. No, I would never have responded well to that kind of thing anyway. They like to approve the people you work with to a certain extent, but Buzz Bidstrup, who made my first 3 albums for me, produced them for me, fitted their criteria just as well as he fitted mine, which is what he's like, you know. And so there was no problem. As it happened, I mean, I wasn't thrown at somebody I couldn't stand or somebody who didn't want to know. And Buzz taught me a great deal. Not that I would necessarily do everything quite the same now, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he taught me so much, and he was really good to work with, and he's like probably... Well, he's the best drummer I've ever played with by miles and miles and miles, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I really like to work with someone who really challenged me now, who was much more far out than I am, if you like, or, you know, really wanted to push me around a bit, who liked the stuff, I wanted to do something with it. You know, I'm ready to work with someone who's really uncooperative, you know, and is really good and is really sort of, you know, more often than
you feel you need pushing around a bit, do you?
Well, probably it would do something different for me because I can produce myself quite effectively now. I don't have a problem with it. You know, I'm pretty objective, and I think it's all right, you know.
If there's any one thing about the Australian music industry you had the power to change, What do you reckon it'd be? What cheeses you off the most?
It's not really the music industry, I don't think, so much. It's the whole thing. The way music is like the way everything is. It's not an isolated incident. The whole culture's been geared into consumerism, and only that music which fits that sort of thing will at the end of the day make the serious money. But on the other hand, you know, I mean, there are compensations for all this. It gives you something to be sort of pissed off about, you know. And but I don't think the music industry is any more sort of driven that way than any other industry. But it is definitely geared that way. That's what they used to say to us at Warner's, don't bag Madonna because she pays for your records indirectly. You know, and because they sell 1 million Madonna records in Australia, they have enough budget of their own. They're considered cool enough. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly fail to sell that many records. That's what bothers me about it all. But they could keep budgets for their own bands, and it was quite literally true that the money from Madonna in that year financed, I think it was the second Weddings album or something like that, literally. So you gotta always think of those things.
Yeah.
Of course, now I can make records a lot cheaper than I thought we could then, or we all thought we could then. And I think that's a thing, you know, like I don't spend very much money on my records now. For instance, the budget for Old Soul Blues was $7,000. Finished, delivered, wrapped up in pretty paper.
On the shelves, yeah.
Yeah.
Took some time, but it got there.
Well, yeah. Well, the recording didn't take much time.
Yeah, it was just getting it out.
Yeah. It's efficient working and knowing what you want to do before you do it.
Yeah. All right, we won't hold you up too much longer. Right. Upcoming live work.
Well, actually, see, I'm playing in Geelong on Sunday. If anyone's down in Geelong, at Preston about 8 o'clock, there's a nice little evening session, acoustic session. I'm doing a thing there with my double bass player, Sandy Brady. It's just across the road from the picture theatres in Geelong. I guess it's a long way from Geelong, but, you know, if you're down the coast on the weekend. But apart from that, no, not really. I'm waiting for Archie to take off. I had expected Archie to be touring by now, you see, so I had not booked myself anything to do this month or next month. But we're not going out now till the middle of May with Archie, so it's just left a bit of a hole in my schedule. But, well, it happens all the time.
Yeah. And what about
so I haven't got anything booked, so I can't. It's a bit late to book anything.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about future releases? Anything sort of in the pipeline for you?
Yeah, quite a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's coming out of what I'm playing down in Geelong and what I'm thinking about, different sort of records. But I need to write some stuff, you know. It certainly won't be till next year.
Yeah.
Just time-wise, Archie's nearly got the rest of this year tied up for me anyway, if I want it. And it's great work, you know. It's a privilege working with him. He's such a great singer.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It really is. It's scary, that voice. Anyway, yeah. So I wouldn't even think about even putting it together seriously till November, December, which means we wouldn't record it till maybe March. I don't know.
Yeah. You must have a fair swag of songs in the bag.
I'll be broke again by then. How will I do? Yeah, well, no. I mean, I've got a lot of ideas. I've got an album's worth of ideas for sure. Some of them are, there's 2 covers of that one. I think that can come to something quite interesting. And the one that I just played, you Ryland's thing. And there's a couple of other bits and pieces I've been mucking around with. A song from Ben Harper's, I think it's his first record. It's called, it's a kind of little rap song. It's called Excuse Me, Mister, I think. It's fantastic. You know, occasionally you run across a song that says just what you're thinking at the time. There's one I don't have to write. No, it's more like there's one I don't have to write. I'll cover it, you know, because they're so good and you couldn't do it any better. That's great, that song.
Like I say, you do like playing around with songs a bit.
Yeah. That's sort of what I do, you know. Yeah.
Good. Listen, Dave, thanks for coming down.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Really.
And we'll let you get back on the road to the edge of the world.
No worries. Back to the edge of the world, yes. There I go. Thanks for listening, folks.
Thanks for your time, Dave Steele.